Welcome to the third Mirrorshades rules video. This time we're going to run through an example of a run. So this is when punks attack a corporate building and attempt to steal their lovely data. So it begins when during a punk action a number of punks turn up at reception. It will usually be four, one of each punk type, though it can be any number they wish. What they do, starting in the reception room, they will encounter whatever security cards are there. So they flip it over, read what it is. So we have a receptionist, and then look at what test is required in the centre of the card. So in this case, we're having to make a charm test versus a target of 5. If they fail, they'll become detected. So if this was, assuming we have a face, they would probably take this test as they tend to be good at charming. So what they do is they take their dice, which will be a d12 for their skill, roll it, and see how they do. So they've got a 12, which is obviously higher than 5. So they've passed that card, and no ill effects happen. The card is not discarded, it remains on the board, but they have passed it without trouble. They now move on to one of the adjacent rooms. Now they must always follow the arrows on the map, working through to their destination. So in this case, they will go to the right, and all the punks move over, and then encounter the top card in this room. So what we have here is a combat patrol. So in this case they have to make a charm or combat test, that'll be of their choice, versus security. On fail they're detected. Now if this building was not protected by corporate protection executive, the security would be the security rating, or 2. So that would be a dead easy test. However, in this case we do have a corporate protection executive down at the bottom in the alert room there. So the corporate player gets to roll their security, which is a d8. So what we're going to do here is we'll explain what the gun will be doing. So assuming they're going to take a combat test, probably the gun, they'll be rolling a d12 again. They decide they really want to make sure they pass this. They're going to use a load of cards as well. So as per any test in Mirrorshade, you can use 2 sorts of cards. One that has a permanent effect and one that has a discard effect. So they're going to use their alpha rifle here to give themselves a +2 to their combat. That's a permanent card, so they get to keep that and always use it. And they're going to use also a micro grenade, which gives them a +6 to their combat, but they have to discard that after use. So that is a total of +8 to their roll. So they'll be rolling a d12 +8 versus a d8 for the corporate player. So unfortunately our gun has only rolled a 1, but still with their +8 they've rolled a 9. So if the corp player wants to have a roll of their d8, they got a 7, so 7 against 9, close, but the punks have passed. So it turns out it was very fortunate they used all those cards, they would not have made it. So that's generally how you encounter security cards. You then follow your way through the building, following the arrows. Let's say later on in the process, they fail one of their tests and they trigger a detected effect. There's 3 detected effects which are encountered in order. There's the alert, the lockdown, and then the run is ended. The one that really has main rules to worry about is the alert. When this happens, the corp player on the map takes all the cards that are in the alert room, which will all be a series of alert cards, and then can place them anywhere in the building. Now, the total number of cards allowed in a room is still in effect, but under alert you can increase it by 1. So in that room there, it would normally be a 1, but we can put an alert card there because the maximum number of cards is increased to 2. So we're going to place the combat drone down there. And as with other security cards, it's placed face down, so you don't have to show the punk until they encounter it what it is. In all other respects, alert cards work the same, and then encounter it, make a test, and move on, or deal with any ill effects. They've made their way through the building, we'll say. They've eventually then got to the one of the servers. They'll go into VR, encounter ice, which works exactly the same as security cards, and then they would take cards. At this point, they've been successful and they have to escape. Because an alert was caused, there'll be a chase. Corporate security will be right after them. So to begin the chase, the punks place themselves on the street location next to reception. So they've exited the building and they're trying to flee. They do have the corporate player right on their tail though. So what they need to do is take a chase action. They need to try and escape. So this is a rigging test, usually be taken by the rigger. However, the only card they can add to this is whichever vehicle they have. So they'll start off with a rubbish old black van, but they might have improved, got better vehicles as the game's gone on. In this case, they've got a Ford Amerivan, so that gives them a +1 to this test. So as this is a rigger, it'd be a d12 plus the 1 they're getting from their vehicle. So very healthy 11 they've got in total. The corp player, as there was a corporate protection executive, will get to roll their security test. Now, Adding to this is the safety rating of the street, which as you can see is a 2. So some of the safer streets means more police, more corporate security. So they've got a 9 against 11, so thankfully the punks have managed to escape. This time they would move on to the next street location and they keep going until they get to the safe house. Had they failed that test, however, the court player gets a chance to shoot at them, so the punks would then be making a combat test against the same security test plus safety rating of the corp player had just taken for the chase test, and if they passed that, it's fine, but if they'd failed that, they would have taken a wound. So there's a chance that the corp players can catch them and take them out. And that is the end of a chase.